Baldur's Gate 3. There was a gameplay reveal at PAX East. It's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So you can watch tons of gameplay as they walk you through what this game is all about, and Saib is super excited about it.
Oh, yeah. My hopes have been high for quite a while. I've known a fair bit about the game, a fair bit about the plot, and a fair bit about like what they've been attempting to do. Up until today, early this morning or late last night, I have not actually had a chance to actually physically see the gameplay. I've been told a lot of things. I've been kept up to date on their desires, their wishes, their overall goals. But this is the first time I actually got to see the actual gameplay, and this is one of the greatest games, I think. Now it's turn-based. There was a lot of people booing in the stream because it was turn-based. I realize that some people dislike turn-based games, but
it's the style of game. It's the type of game they want to make. I was going to ask, is there any option? I remember in Baldur's Gate 2.
No, because of the depth, and I'm going to get into how deep this game is and why an actual live version of it just wouldn't work. Because this is the pinnacle, the absolute pinnacle of turn-based party games, the D&D experience. This is the best we have ever gotten, not by a little bit, by an absolute enormous amount. Things that the way that the game plays is simply amazing, period. And you will not find very many games within the next, probably the next 5 years that can do what this game is going to give you the opportunity to do. It is, just simply put, one of the best experiences you'll ever have as a turn-based game, as a strategy game, and as a D&D game. Oh my goodness, this is good. In a D&D scenario, when you're sitting down with an actual GM, and you're like, I'm being chased by a creature. I jump up onto this thing. I, move several feet. All right, that's your turn. Creature jumps up from the ledge behind you, and it is now coming around you, but it's precariously close to the side of the cliff. And you're like, oh crap. Well, what do you have for throwing weapons? You've got no throwing weapons, but you do have an extra pair of boots. Can I throw the boots at the creature? The answer in this game is yes. You
options.
Can throw your damn boots at the creature who's chasing you. You can throw your boots at the creature who's chasing you. I have never been excited about throwing boots at anybody, ever. I've never been part of that scene. And for some reason, this got me literally screaming yesterday. This is the greatest game you will ever play. Because, and I'm really sorry for just Cyberpunk 2077 right now, but this is going to set the new rules as far as how turn-based combat can work and what it could give you the options of doing. It is amazing, and this is just the alpha, and they're having an early alpha hopefully sometime this year.
Nice.
So the announcement was leaked a few hours before it actually came out, but they will be having an early alpha this year, starting up at some point, and you'll be able to buy into the game, and then you'll be able to play the game as they work on it to increase the feedback that they're getting. This worked amazing for Larian Studios' last game, which was literally slipped my mind right now, Divinity Original Sin 2, which is such a long name. But here's this amazing experience where if there's a fire nearby, anything from a candle to an actual burning fire in a pit, you can walk up to it, dip your arrow in the fire, and get a fire arrow.
Wow.
This is the level of realism.
Now,
the conversations are the dude was playing as a vampire in the gameplay, or as a half vampire, and the self-character dialogue was he's talking to this girl, and you can have your vampire go into oh my god, I'm so thirsty, I want her blood. That's an inner monologue that you can actually do. And then so that's the depth on the roleplay dynamics of the game that they've been setting up. The exploration abilities that they've set up. If you don't have anybody with flight or teleportation, there's not going to be places that you can get to that you can explore. But if you don't have a rogue, you're also not going to get to places that you can explore. If you don't have a high strength level, you're also not going to be able to get to places that you can explore. So every time you play the game, you're going to be experiencing some of what the map has to offer. And that in order to get like a full run through of the game, you're gonna have to play it a few times, because there's areas, there's luck based stuff, there's hidden walls and rooms that you can walk past if you don't have high enough perception that you'll never know is there. And that these are the tools that they're giving to us to make as well. You can literally do anything in this game as far as like from the creative standpoint as a DM. Remember a couple of months ago I said that they're hoping and planning to take this down to the roll for everything. And that you can go one roll at a time as the GM. Now, we haven't seen the multiplayer online tools yet. They are coming. They're probably not going to arrive at the release of the alpha, but they're going to get there eventually. And this is one of these things where it's like what they're building for this, what they're creating for this is amazing. So the opening cinematic, which I in the chat, I'm going to link it again here. This opening, this is for the Steam page. The opening cinematic alone is bloody amazing. Their last animation, which was showed off like back at, I think it came out right before E3 last year, is amazing. This new animation is even more amazing. There are dragon riders, portals that dragons fly through. There is like just a ton of amazing content visually behind what's going on. And then the storyline is what I kind of alluded to a couple months ago. The storyline is you're playing as a character who gets snatched up by this giant ship, which is like a giant tentacle monster. And you have one of these like little creatures put into your head that turns you into a mind flayer. It's how they reproduce. It's how they breed. Basically, is they take these little things, they shove them in people's brains, and then after an indeterminate amount of time, your body goes through this horrendous transformation, and your soul gets destroyed, and you become a mind flayer. It's horrendous. It's crazy. We
saw
really
that
evil.
in the first cinematic from that you were talking about there. It's pretty it's pretty gruesome.
It's pretty brutal. Yeah, and it's like it's the only like there's only a few spells that can ever like revert this, and it's a wish spell and like a couple of more powerful ones. But so it's basically like a wish spell might get you back to normal. I said a little while ago, it's basically you end up playing as one of these characters that are becoming one of these things, and
so you're a character that has one of these.
Yeah,
in your brain, and so I imagine part of the game is going to be about how do I neutralize this? How do I stop from going through this transformation?
And as confirmed, it was also confirmed yesterday that it was heard that, and I didn't really put it out there because I didn't want to leak too much on the project, but basically it's like you and your companions are all sick with this thing, and you're all infected, and you have to find a high level cleric or healer like ASAP. The storyline may involve some of them or you not having the ability to cure everybody in your party. And so you have to make the horrible choice, including whether or not you might sacrifice yourself. And then how that plays out throughout the story. It's
can you just let yourself turn into a mind flayer and then play as a mind flayer? That would be interesting.
I suspect that might be an option. In fact, I suspect that might actually have something very important to do, because they did very keenly suggest that the only way to reverse this was through a wish spell. And there are two attractive ladies that you team up with, and there are two I don't know what you want to like. There are two dashing males that you end up team with. Actually, I think there's three. There's three dashing males that you team up with too. And there's a silver fox for the people who like silver foxes, and then there's a younger, more deeper tanned fellow, and then there's another dude who seems like a power mad crazy person. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of there's a mage who's very suave, and he's very I could tell that if you're playing as a girl and you like to get hit on, that it's probably gonna come a lot. But yeah, this I suspect,
That was a weird sentence.
I suspect that you're going to end up having. I'm mainly saying it for Time Being in the chat, because Time Being he had a he's got sass. So so it's one of these things where it's like this is going to no doubt throw you some very difficult choices when it comes to what you end up doing. This game is so far along. Again, unfortunately, but accurately, if this was an EA title, it would be released probably in a few weeks. Like, we're talking like summer, fall release for sure. And because, you know, it's like they had a couple of game breaking bugs that happened during the live gameplay that actually made him have to basically restart the game, so, like on the spot. So that was really funny to watch. He had timed it so that something would happen, and he ended up like dying the first time that he played. This is how difficult the game is too. Is like he was playing this on difficulty, and it's like, well, I'm totally screwed. Like,
yep, straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, this isn't going to go very well. Let me throw my boots at him, and he chucked his boots at this one thing.
Yeah. So
really though,
I mean, question from the chat about that from Robin. So after you throw the boots, does the creature put on the boots?
They are going to have an option now. It's not in the game, but it is something that they're adding to the AI's code. The AI will look to improve themselves with whatever gear happens to be readily accessible
in the environment. Oh, that's cool.
They're not going to open like chests or special things like that and take the unique items as prizes. There is full body loot in this, it strongly appears as if there's full body loot or pretty close to full body loot. So you're going to be able to do a thing. So here's another thing that they showed. And this is where the conversation around this particular thing happened. So he came into this thing and he's like, oh, look, there's a bunch of skeletons on the floor. Guess what? Chances are, if we take whatever that big glowing chest over there is, that all those skeletons are going to get up off the ground. So he says, so in any good situation like this, any normal person would say, huh, look at all those skeletons. Undead is an actual real thing that I have to be concerned about. Maybe I should just take all their weapons and move all their weapons away from them. Because he's like this is an actual thing. Like, this is an actual strategy that people, you know, in a D&D situation, like I've been in groups where it's like you walk in and there's a glowing chest not too far away, but surrounding the chest is a bunch of armed skeletons that are seemingly dead on the ground. and so my party goes, all right, collect all the weapons from the undead. And the DM's just like, his jaw drops because he never thought about this. Right? And he's like, I didn't plan for you de-equipping all of the skeletons before you triggered the thing that triggers them. so you know, take out a few firmer, right? Time Being, you know, you take out some you know, important bones and whatever.
Yeah,
and
like
then suddenly,
that's like
suddenly they come alive and they're like, where's my weapon?
Wait a minute, I have no legs.
I can't walk either.
I always assumed that if you tried to do that, they would just kind of, that the skeletons would animate at that point, but I suppose.
Yeah, well, they might have some interesting workarounds for this in the future, but basically they said we immediately realized that this is something that people can do, so we're adding code into the AI so that the AI will wake up, they'll get up, and they'll look for weapons if they don't have any. You know, so if they don't have any, they're going to try to equip themselves with the best thing that they can. And the AI in this, really brilliant. Oh my god, the AI is brilliant. They have these little like brain things that are running around, and these things will attack, and then if they have enough movement points afterwards, they will hide from you if you have a ranged weapon. So they will attack you and then run around the corner really quick to hide from your bow, because you might take a shot at them. So this is how smart the AI is that they're working on, is they're giving the AI the ability to like plan, to like make judgment calls. If they have explosive containers in the game, just like they did in Divinity. If you're standing beside an explosive container, the AI is smart enough to maybe target that as well. So this is something that where there's a lot of intelligence built around this, and it's so exciting because this is so exciting, and it's coming to early release this year, possibly this year. They made no promises. They're basically like, this is what we're planning to do. This is what we're hoping to do. And hopefully we're going to get there. Graphically, this game is better, significantly better than the last Dragon Age game, which was a while ago, but that kind of gives you a sense for graphics. It's a really beautiful game. It's a really clever. It has this amazing conversation system. For those of you who don't like a protagonist voice, so far they don't have a protagonist voice. So there's none. So you can. This is going to be really, really, really good for Let's Plays and stuff like that. You're going to be able to like sit there and and do the own voices for your own characters. Of course, this will be a little bit weird if I end up playing as a female again because but maybe I'll try my best or not or not
just
or not.
Yeesh. Yeah, so this does sound really awesome, and actually I'm quite intrigued. I mean, I have no idea if I'm going to have time to play it or not, but I mean, it depends when it comes out. But
now,
I know
as far as modding goes, they're open to it basically. They are looking forward to it. So yeah, this is setting up to be just like one of the best games of the generation. In my humble opinion, I think this is potentially setting the groundwork because all we had up until this point was talk and like ideas, concepts. When I talked about kind of early on, one of the reasons why I haven't talked about this game a lot is that everything I was hearing sounded too good to be true, and there was a lot of people who immediately reacted. If it has all the features that you're talking about, it's just not gonna fly. Like they're not gonna be able to put it out. It's wishing for too much. So the most important, people are over anticipating what you're gonna end up getting, and it's just not gonna work. And I didn't want to kind of encourage that, but from what we have now, this is gonna be one of the greatest games of this generation. This is going to set a new bar for RPG turn-based games, just like Divinity did, and they've taken everything that they had from Divinity and they've ramped it up significantly. They've it's one of these types of games where there's a ton of movable objects in the game. There's a ton of things that you can do. Are you stuck? Did you fall down a pit that's full of a bunch of boxes and other things? And can you construct a stairway out of the pit? You can do that. Can you take a big chest and shove it against a door, preventing people from coming through like you can in an actual D&D match? Yes, you can. Can you stack several crates on top of each other to get from one level to the next and then take those crates away so that when the barbarians break through the door, you've got nothing but, a bunch of people on the on an elevated position that they can't get to? Yes, they can. Can you throw your bloody swords at people on a second level? Yes, you can. Can you shove people off a second or third level and cause them fall damage? Yes, you can. Oh my God, you can do so much.
Can you fall in a pit with some boxes to build a staircase out of, but then stupidly break all the boxes and then you're stuck there and die of starvation?
Yes, you could do that as well. This is well, maybe not die of starvation, but this is all stuff that you can do. Any kind of boxes that you move potentially can break, or can shatter, or you can throw them too hard, too far, or land on them too hard and break them too. So this is this is everything that I had been hoping for, everything that I'd heard the rumors about. But if I had said this all like a couple of weeks ago, people would have called me crazy and said that's too much. But now we don't have, and again, these guys, what they've been planning to do from the beginning is to give you the tools to be able to do and host games live constantly. This has been their plan from the beginning, and they will have online PvP. They will have shared split screen PvP. They will have local and online co-op.
That's pretty insane. This does sound amazing. Absolutely. And
yeah.
There's a lot of people I'm noticing in the chat right now. Lots of people excited for this. Some not so much, but some excited for it even more than for Cyberpunk 2077. So, I mean, that being the case, This definitely looks like it's a title we are going to be covering.
There were times where there was up to 7 choices for dialogue, and several of those were unique to the fact that you were playing as a vampire, or unique to the fact that you were playing as a, whatever your race was, whatever your sex was.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and that's really
mm-hmm.
awesome that they're doing things like that. I wonder if they have dumb dialogue options.
And again, the way that they've designed this, the way that they want to give DMs the tools. A DM or a GM is going to be able to role play those conversations with the mobs, and is going to be able to react like live. So this is going to be so amazing, because the depth of this and what this gives us as the players the opportunity in the future to build on this game, to make it better, to add stuff. Right now, he's like, yeah, we're going into alpha with like, I think it's like 8 races and 4 or 5 classes. Like, that's what they're going into the alpha with. The pre-alpha that you'll be able to play when the game launches fully. They're planning on having a near full set of classes from D&D. So, and yes, the ability to create your own modules is something that they've always been planning on. The ability to have people craft modules and then drop them for the community, and then for you to put modules together. So in the future, this is like how great the modding is going to be. We're going to be able to mod a castle adventure or a bandit camp experience, and you can just, as the GM, you're going to be able to drop these things in for the month long or 2 or 3 or 6 month long campaign that you and your friends are going through. So you've got a bandit map ready that you've added some tweaks to. You've got a castle for your big fight. You've got a town for a bunch of like role play goodness and maybe some small fighting. And then you've got, or if your party is full of like crazy people, then you could just burn down the whole town if you wanted. They have all of these options, and you're going to be able to like roll with it. This is the combination between like Cyberpunk and the good old, like the good turn-based role play games that we have been wanting to play for a really long time. This is like a perfect combination of like, the RPG goodness of Cyberpunk and the choice and depth of Fallout 4. And this is a game that we've been made to like work on and play with and experience.
Yeah. It just sounds like it's a type of thing that can give you tons of content for a very, very long time, and especially if they do expansions, if it's a thing that they support into the future, which makes a lot of sense for the if this is supposed to be, bring the tabletop experience into the video game world, which we've talked about for quite a while now, is what seems to be their goal. This is the kind of thing that, I mean, this could have a great deal of longevity, especially as you're saying, if there's mods and if there's user created content and all of that stuff. If it's a robust tool set that you can use to create your own content, I mean, that's going to be fantastic. That's going to be amazing.
This is what they've been talking about for so long, is that they have this desire, and they've had this desire for a long time, to give D&D fans the ability to actually play the game that they've wanted to play with the people that they've wanted to play for a long time, and actually do that. And that's been their plan from the get-go, is to create a thing that will give the players the ability to have an experience that they've wanted for literally forever. This is where a lot of us have been expecting Dragon Age to go. It became far more actiony, far more like just run around a map and pew pew everything. I mean, there were even MMO elements in it last time, and Lord knows there's probably going to be like, hey, collect me 100 of these really rare flowers if you want to advance the quest. What's the rate of getting those flowers? Oh, like, $4 an hour. Or you could pay a microtransaction to get a packet of 150 of these flowers immediately. That's what we're expecting with Dragon Age. Like, the amount of like single player microtransactions that EA has been messing with is disgusting. And yeah,
right,
big shock there.
So I wonder if there's the potential for a new kind of build, if you could just dump a whole bunch points into strength and just have a throw random garbage build. Throw random garbage at your enemy.
I can guarantee you that this is an ability. This is a build that they actually had in Divinity Original Sin 2. So this is not a foreign concept to what they want to create. However, strength is capped in the D&D world. You can't like 20 is kind of like really high, and then 30 is like, kind of unheard of,
kind of ridiculous.
A little ridiculous, and there's limitations as to like how strong you can get your character, because it's a world that's been built around as much realism as you can, and this is why this is so exciting. They have 10, 20, 25, 35, 40, there's almost 50 skill bars at the bottom of these screens. So this is going to include everything from spells to unique skills, to your sneak skills, to some social skills, to a bunch of other stuff. So you're going to be able to customize this bar. Now this bar may evolve over time, but there's a lot you can do. You can pickpocket people. You can do a whole bunch of unique stuff with this. And again, this is still early alpha, and when they put the game out, it's still going to be, I'd say, probably a year or a little bit more away from being fully released, but this is looking so exciting.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.